Hey guys, Jedi here from AirsoftRx.com and TX911Gear.com. I got a video, and I know I haven't done this complete review yet, and we will later. So let me cover this stuff first, and then we'll talk about the review of the gun, what came with it, and what I've done to it. The MP7 is up here. We'll get into that, but I only have so many minutes when I do this on an iPhone. So let's get right into it. I started searching on how to do the Buffer Tube Mod on the WE PDW. This is able to be done on the GHK as well as the AEG versions if you do that correctly. Okay, so you have to be careful. First of all, it comes with this, what I consider goofy little coat hanger stock, which folds to the side and niftily locks to the side. Okay, now my Scar does the same thing, but I got to be honest with you, I never use it collapsed and folded. I've never played airsoft from the seat of a vehicle. I probably never will. So, therefore, I don't need it. Number two, the MP7 with its barrel extension, as you can tell, is pretty much the same size. Now, if you try to get down on the sights of an MP7 with the breech being back here, it blows all that gas back in your face. Okay, see, back here's where the breech is. On the PDW, your breech is a little bit more forward, so the addition of the buffer tube and the extension of the stock keeps this from blowing back in your face as bad. So how did I do this? Well, first thing you got to do is you have to remove everything from here back. And you do that by doing this, undoing this screw with the flat head on it. Take this whole piece back. Then you have to go and drill out the pin that goes right there. I highly suggest you drill it. You see this is mangled because I didn't drill it first. I tried to back it out, and obviously WE inserts the pin from this side down and not this side in, and it's not designed to come apart that way. But have no fear. If once you do this mod and you decide you want to sell this gun, it may sell itself well with a buffer tube mod on it, or it may sell itself better with its original. Just order this from Airsoft Global for 60 bucks. It comes with a pin, you slide it on, or actually it comes already attached to this doohickey here, and you just put it on there and add the screw, and you're right back to what you had in the box. So what I did was I took a UTG buffer tube. This is a mil-spec buffer tube. I forget what the inner diameter is. So I was doing my live vocal show, and my son was talking to the guys, and I kind of got antsy, so I started working on it. I went there earlier that day to the gun store and bought the buffer tube, and because all my stocks are mil-spec, and I needed a mil-spec tube. So I ended up buying the UTG. That cost me like $13, $14, okay? It did not come with the buffer or the spring. That's why it was so cheap. So then I started looking around the garage, and I thought, man, how am I going to take up all this internal diameter right here? Let me get my pointer. All this internal diameter right here without putting in $50 worth of JB Weld. Now, I also got this question before. For you guys who do not know what JB Weld is, it is an epoxy with a hardener. It comes in 2 tubes. You squirt a little bit of each out, you mix it up, and you have to work with it quickly because it will sit up on you and fast, okay? So, that's why it's better that you pre-test everything. Once you get this off, what you end up with is this piece right here with this jut out and another jut out going that way. Now, the jut out going this way is a little bit larger in diameter than this one. But it just so happened that it fit a 1/4 inch drive on the socket perfectly. It's round, I know this is square, but it gave it enough friction. So I took this loose from the body, flipped it up on the workbench like this, where that nubs point straight up. I took a Dremel bit, stone Dremel bit, and I dremeled this out a little bit and roughed it up so the JB Weld would have something to hold to nicely. And then I took it, I flipped it upside down on this one right here, and I took a hammer, hammered it on, and it went on perfect. No this way, no this way, no up or down. It was perfectly square and flush. Now I had this piece with this huge extension on it which would serve to take up a buttload of this space right here on the inner side of this tube. Now, if I had that spring with me, that buffer tube spring, you would see that the diameter is a perfect match. So then what I did was I took that Dremel and I went inside the buffer tube, roughed that up. Then I went and I took this and I roughed the edges up of this. I took my Q-tip and I spread my JB weld on the inside, okay? And then I slid the buffer tube onto this, taking up a whole lot of that diameter. But I made sure that I had the stock on the buffer tube before I did so. That way I could rotate it left or right and line it up to where it would be straight, and it wouldn't be like this or like this. So I had it straight, I laid it down, and I left it alone for 48 hours, and I let it cure. This stuff, if you use the quick cure, it will set in like 10 minutes, but it won't be cured. It still takes 24 to 48 hours before it's usable. Once that was done, I slid this unit back on, I inserted the screw, and now I've got the buffer tube mod done on the weapon. What did I gain by this? I gained my length of pull from my shoulder to my fire control. It felt more comfortable. I can come down on my sights. The breech is more forward than it is on the MP7. So therefore I had no gas blowing back in my face. I still have the ability to collapse this stock if I want to. Okay? But I'm thinking I won't do that. First thing I have to do is I want to be able to keep this removable so I can slide this body into the laser. Once I do that, then I will come back. We'll turn around here. I will come back and I will rough up this area right here and here. I will add JB weld and I will close it off forever, eliminating any wobble whatsoever. But I'm still able to remove this if I want to. Okay? So that's what makes that work. So I hope that answers the question I got on the buffer tube mod, why I did it and how I did it. And now I have a weapon that when it's fully extended, with the MP7 fully extended and the barrel extension, they are two identical weapons in length. The only difference is the MP7, its breech is further back than the PDW. So therefore, with this one I still get gas in my face, this one I don't. Thanks for watching.